Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Exoptable Money by developer Wortpole. Exoptable, by the way, means very desirable, in case you're wondering before we get started. This is a game that sort of follows in the footsteps of some of the other incremental games that are out there, and I'm using that term loosely because I'm not sure if we've necessarily got 100% nailed down genre convention name for this particular genre. But, you know, this sort of follows along with the games like Clicker Heroes, Cookie Clicker, A Dark Room, and other ones like that. And each one has had its sort of own individual slight spin on the formula. And this one's case is basically that we've found a box. It's a magical box, and it makes money. So we take it home, we decide to get richer and richer, but we're not the only one who enjoys having money. So there's a few parallels here with some of the games that I just mentioned, and also I see a little bit of Little Inferno in this one as well, because it's got a little bit of an expanding story that happens as we go. It's also got a cute, fluffy cat, which is great and fantastic and wonderful, and really a classy soundtrack too, right? You can hear it in the background there. So why don't we get started? We'll do a little bit of clicking. This might not be a particularly long episode, just because, you know, you'll kind of get the idea pretty quickly, and as incremental games go, they usually hit a wall pretty quickly that you need to wait a while for. So we're going to hit this little handle, and that's going to start our money machine cranking out dollar bills, yo. And it's basically going to cause them to bounce around, and eventually when they fall past the bottom of the screen, we get them in our little collector at the top left. When we feel so inclined, we can go ahead and click this rope, and this brings down our purchase menu. When we get to $10, we can purchase a Money Machine version 2, or we can purchase version 2 of bills for $50, or if we want to really wait a really long time, we can purchase coins for $1,000. Then we've got Topaz version 1 for $20K, a couple of question marks over here, which are a little bit mysterious. We've got our adorable cat for $1,000, who will actually go and search out money for you. Doesn't usually find a lot, unfortunately. I like to just kind of like keep him around because it's cute to have a cat there, but you can send him on his way. Either way, whatever you're into. We've got backgrounds for $8,000. I don't know if this is actually something that'll help you earn money or if it's just a cosmetic upgrade. And we've got a tin can for $50K, so that's a bit of a project to get to that one. So I've played maybe about 10 minutes of this so far. I've gotten my first 3 items up to like level 5-ish. And I've gotten a cat who doesn't have any levels. He just sits there, or goes and finds money, whatever you want him to do. So we've got $21. We can go ahead and purchase our Money Machine version 2. And that's going to actually result in us getting some mail down at the bottom here. So let's click on that. We got a letter from Madam Sinclair. I can't really tell what that stamp is of, but it kind of looks like a weird honeycomb thing. The thing that you used to drizzle honey on, like that they always had in the Honey Nut Cheerios commercials. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping it's a weird fuzzy bee, but I can't really tell. So let's open our letter. Hello! From Miss Sinclair. Okay, well, that's all you have to say. I kind of appreciate that the letters are kind of kept rather brief. So we're up to $40 now. I think our goal for the next improvement is to get to 50, so we just got a few more here. 47, 48, 49, there we go. So we've got bills now up to version 3. Next is version 3 of that. So perfect. Let's see what our next letter is going to say. Madam Sinclair, open it up. I am Madam Sinclair. Oh, well, you're rather slow in getting these points across, I guess. Considering the price of postage these days, that seems a little bit irresponsible. But, you know, maybe you've got some money, too. Or maybe you've got your own money machine. I'm not sure. Probably not, given that I've seen a little bit of the context. But this is why I find this game rather interesting. It's a little bit on the enigmatic side. I'm not really sure where the story is going to take us. I've also noticed in the Game Jolt page that I downloaded this from, it's categorized with realistic violence and blood and gore. So I hate to be the one that spoils that for you, but, you know, also, that could be kind of a thing you'd like to know up front. Somebody got me with a freaking Can Your Pet game years ago, or a year ago or so, and I guess I'd like to prevent others from having that same level of trauma befall them as well. So let's buy our next Money Machine, since that looks like our next incremental improvement. Now we're at 500, 400, and 1,000 for all these top 3, or of course we could always buy the cat for 1,000 as well. I'm hoping to get to the point where we can buy a cat fairly readily, just because it's nice to have one. And also the hearts come out of it are super nice. I'm really hoping the blood and gore thing has nothing to do with the cat, and if it does, my apologies, because I didn't know. I didn't play enough to see that. There's nothing really you can do in your downtime, unfortunately, at the beginning, which, you know, is not really greatly that distinct from other ones. I think a lot of the other games in the similar genre, you can't really interact with anything. You're just kind of waiting for money, for numbers to get bigger. It would be kind of fun if you could, like, play with the money in the air, or, like, click on it to get an extra bonus, or, you know, golden cookie shows up. That's kind of like the one little thing that happens on occasion. I guess in Clicker Heroes, you have the treasure chest that'll happen on occasion, or you've got your active skills. This one, really the only thing you can do other than pull the rope down, or I guess you can interact with the box. You can kind of turn it off if you're in the mood for that. If you'd rather not make money for some reason. I don't know why someone would do that. That's an option. It gives you the simulatory experience of having that option to pull the lever. Also notice there's one single pixel there that's actually slightly out of place. I don't know if you can see it, but there's one extra crimson pink pixel there. So we're at 338. We're getting near our next bill upgrade, or should I go for the next money machine? I'm not sure. I don't think it really makes a difference, because at this point, accruing money is fairly slow. We could just wait out for the 400 and then hope we can get back to 500 pretty quickly. Although when we get to coins, that's actually a pretty big upgrade. I think it nearly doubles the speed with which you're starting to make money. I'm tempted to do it, but by the same token, I'd rather just get the next letter and see what it says. Okay, Madam Sinclair sends us a third letter. I see you are making money. Yes, you do. You see this. Why can you see that, actually? Are you in the abstract background looking through one of these fractals in at me? That's a little terrifying. I think I've actually used the same background, the one that we see here, as, like, my phone's wallpaper or something. It's just mirrored across the middle here, which, you know, works. It's kind of a classy, confusing, mysterious background. I think it fits thematically with what's going on. So we're at 222. Okay, well, things are going fast enough. I think we can get one more upgrade in here, perhaps. Oh, wow, big, drastic jump. We go from whatever the last one was to 3,000. I think we could potentially get up to the 5, though, and we can buy another money machine, and then that'll give us enough time to be able to hopefully get to the cat or the coins, or maybe both. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, it's an interesting premise. I would like to see more things that go in the same categories, elaborate a little bit more on the storytelling idea here, and I think this is where this genre is going to go eventually. I think there's a lot of potential for future directions, and I'm thinking, like, as a supplementary subgenre, I think this game, or things like this game, could fit pretty neatly within other styles of gameplay. What I'm imagining is, say, take something really confusing and strange and surreal and obtuse, like Antichamber, for example. And I don't know if this is the best example, but, you know, first thing that came to mind. You're walking around in a crazy maze, nothing really makes sense, but all of a sudden you find yourself at an impasse, and there's, like, a giant pit. And the only way to get through that giant pit is you have to activate a cube spawner. And the cube spawner on the top of the screen requires you to find, you know, red blocks from around a room. And each time you find them, it's going to create another small set of blocks, which then, you know, if you feed back into it, will create the blocks that'll eventually seed the floor for you to cross the room with. So it's like, it's sort of a superficial way to pad out some gameplay at certain points, but in another way, it's really addictive, and provided you have just a little bit of framework that goes around it, it can be surprisingly compelling as well. At least that's kind of my take on it. I don't know if everybody feels the same way. I think probably some people sort of resent these sort of games since they're so transparently Skinner boxes, which I think we've covered in prior episodes on similar games like this. But for some reason, that doesn't really bother me. For some reason, I'm bothered a little bit more by like games like World of Warcraft. I think it's because money doesn't really come into play for a game like this. It's just kind of freely there for anybody to experience. And so far, the context that I've played these games in has pretty much always been that they're free. I'm not sure to what degree I would pay for a game that is only this. But if it was in the framework of another game, I don't think I would have as big of an issue. So I guess take that with a grain of salt. Maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe nobody else feels the same way. But it is sort of the way that I look at these. So we're getting near 750 now. I think we've still got a few moments more. I really would like something else to play around with on the screen. Even if it was something as weird as just like a floating orb that would gravity bounce around the screen and I could like knock into it, and if I do a combo and it doesn't fall, then I would get like an extra $5 every few times, or maybe the combo would keep getting bigger. I don't know, I feel like there's always something that needs to be going on to keep the player engaged on a moment-to-moment basis. so their mind doesn't start to drift and start to think about, like, what else could I be doing that's more engaging than this? Because I could be playing Borderlands right now, I could be playing Bayonetta right now, like, I could be doing all kinds of other things. But I am accruing money in a sort of superficial fashion. So we're gonna buy our cat. Meow, hi. Hi, kitty. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, look at how many hearts. So we can click our cat to look for money. I'm gonna leave it right there because I think it's nicer to give your cat lots of pets and give it lots of love. Let's see what our letter says. So Madam Sinclair keeps writing to us. I used to make money too. Oh. Okay, so is this, maybe this was your magical box. Maybe you're kind of bitter about the fact that I might have it now. Not really sure. It was probably a better idea to have gone for the coin, so I could have gotten the cat as the last thing, but... oh well, what are you gonna do? You know what? We're gonna actually wrap up the video on this one. Exoptable money. I kind of want to see where this is going and see what the question marks are, so there's a pretty high chance that I'm going to end up playing this more. Whether or not that's on a stream, I have yet to decide, but I would absolutely love to see the rest of what this has to offer and see why it got that realistic violence, blood, and gore ranking on Game Jolt. That's really, it's a confusing thing for me. By the way, if you didn't know what these icons were, the save and load, music on or off in full screen, but, you know, you could probably figure that out fairly quickly. I'd also love to see what happens when Topaz comes into play. They're just going to be gems flying out of this box. Maybe every time $1,000 is made, someone somewhere in the world dies. Maybe it's that kind of thing. You know, I think there's a lot of storytelling to be done in the incremental games space, and I'd love to see that start happening a little bit more readily. Like I said, Little Inferno did some of that in a way, although... the game of Little Inferno was a little bit less of an incremental game, a little bit more of a puzzle game, but also just kind of a spectacle, sort of something unique and a little bit weird. I'm not really sure what kind of game I would even call that. I mean, I've kind of hinged on some of those, or sort of hit on some of those concepts, but I don't really know if it necessarily falls into an incremental game, or a puzzle game, or just like a walking simulator. I know it's not a walking simulator, obviously, but it's, in the same sort of realm of passive gameplay. I don't think it's really that either, so... I don't know, maybe we could take more uncategorizable games and get them out into the world. I'm certainly of the mind that we need more things like this, and I would absolutely love to create a game like this at some point. I think it's actually within my grasp of actually figuring out how to do, too. Provided I can, you know, master a few simple triggers and then get the math to kind of propagate itself. Got enough for the coins... get some coins into play, and then we will get the clinking of the coins falling. They kind of look like potato chips a little bit, don't they? So all of a sudden you'll notice I'm making drastically more money, and things in the realm of the thousands start to become a possibility. I'll click on the cat just because I'm going to go off and look for some money. It's going to be a while before he comes back, so don't get the wrong idea. He does come back, though. I've seen him. Anyway, that's going to be it. Exoptable money, free to download if you'd like to go check it out. I will have a link for you right in the description of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you show your support by leaving a like. That helps me out a whole bunch and helps get these videos out to more people so they can see these unique, artistic, original, and just strange indie games. That's kind of what I'm all about here. And if you enjoy that, I do a new episode of Indie Impressions every single day. I've been doing it for over 2 years now. Come on back tomorrow and see another one, and hopefully we can ride off into the sunset finding all the strange indie games out there in the world. So I will talk to you real soon. Make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what you think about all the stuff I discussed today, what you think about incremental games, and all of that. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.